Hey guys, I'm Shahab Wali. So today I'm back with a new video for you people. So today in this video I'm gonna tell you the history of Philppine. So guys, before starting our video, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, so please subscribe my channel and thumbs up for this video. So guys, the Negertos are believed to have migrated to the Philippines some 30,000 years ago from Borneo, Sumatra and Malaya. The Malayans followed in successive waves. These people belonged to a primitive epoch of Malayan culture, which has apparently survived to this day among certain groups such as the Igorots. The Malayan tribes that came later had more highly developed material cultures. In the 14th century, Arab traders from Malay and Borneo introduced Islam into southern Ireland and extended their influence as far north and Luzon. The first Europeans to visit 1521 the Philippines were those in the Spanish expedition around the world led by the Portuguese explorer Ferdinand and Magellan. Other Spanish expeditions followed, including one from New Spanish Mexico under Lopez de Villalobos, who in 1542 named the island from the infant Philip, later Philip II. Spanish control. The conquest of the Philippines by Spain did not begin in the earnest until 1564, when another expedition from the New Spain, commanded by Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, arrived. Spanish leadership was soon established over many small independent communities that previously had known no central rule. By 1571, when Lopez de Legazpi established the Spanish city of the Manila on the site of a Moro town he had conquered the year before, the Spanish foothold in the Philippines was secure despite the opposite of the Portuguese, who were eager to maintain their monopoly on the trade of East Asia. Manila repulsed the attack on the Chinese frigate Limahong in 1574. For centuries before the Spanish arrived, the Chinese had traded with the Philippines, but evidently none that settled permanently in the island until after the conquest. Chinese trade and labor were of great importance in the early development of the Spanish colony, but the Chinese came to be feared and hated because of their increasing numbers. And in 1603, the Spanish murdered thousands of them. Later, there were lesser massacres of the Chinese. The Spanish governor made a viceroy in 1589, ruled with the advice on the powerful loyal Audiencia. There were frequent uprisings by the Philippines who resented the encomienda system. By the end of the 16th century, Manila had become a leading commercial center of East Asia, carrying on a flourishing trade with China, India, and the East Indias. The Philippines supplied some wealth, including gold, to Spain, and the richly laden galleons plying between the island and New Spain were often attacked by English freebooters. There was also trouble from other quarters, and the period from 1600 to 1663 was marked by the continual wars with the Dutch, who were laying the foundation of their rich empire in the East Indies, and with Morocco pirates. One of the most difficult problems the Spanish faced was the subjugation on the Moros. Intermittent campaigns were conducted against them, but without conclusive result until the middle of the 19th century. As the power of the Spanish Empire waned, the Jesuit orders became more influential in the Philippines and acquired great amounts of property. The World War II war came suddenly to the Philippines on December 7 US time, 1941, when Japan attacked without warning. Japanese troops invaded the island in many places and launched a pincer drive on Manila. MacArthur's scattered defending forces, about 80,000 troops, 4/5 of them Philippines, were forced to withdraw the Bataan Peninsula and Corregidor Island, where they emerged and tried to hold until the arrival of reinforcement. Meanwhile, guarding the entrance to Manila Bay and denying that important harbor to the Japanese. But no reinforcements were forthcoming. The Japanese occupied Manila on January 2, 1942. MacArthur was ordered out by President Roosevelt and left from Australia on March 11th. Lieutenant General Jotan Van Wright assumed command. Japan's efforts to win Filipino loyalty found expression in the establishment, October 14, 1943, of a Philippine Republic, with Joseph Laurel, former Supreme Court Justice, as president. But the people suffered greatly from Japanese brutality, and the puppet government gained little support. Meanwhile, President Quezon, who had escaped with other high officials before the country fell, set up a government in exile in Washington. When he died, August 1944, Vice President Sergio Osmina became president. Osmina returned to the Philippines with the first liberation forces, which surprised Japanese by landing October 20, 1944, at Leyte in the heart of the islands. Aftermath of U.S. airstrikes against Mindanao, the Philippine government was established at Tacloban, Leyte on October 23rd. The landing was followed October 23rd, 26, by the greatest naval engagement in history, called variously the Battle of Leyte Gulf and the Second Battle of the Philippine Sea. A great U.S. victory in the effectively destroyed the Japanese fleet and opened the way of the recovery of all the island. Luzon was invaded January 1945, and Manila was taken in February. On July 5, 1945, Torah announced all the Philippines are now liberated. The Japanese had suffered over 425,000 dead in the Philippines. The Philippine Congress met on June 9, 1945 for the first time since its election in 1941. It forced enormous problems. The land was devastated by war. The economy destroyed, the country torn by political warfare and gradual violence. Osmina leadership was changed January 1946 when one wing, now the Liberal Party and the Nationalist Party, nominated for the president. Meanwhile, Roxa, who defeated Osmina in April. Ferdinand E. Marcos, who succeeded to the presidency after defeating McPagal in 1965 election, inherited the territorial dispute over Sabah. In 1968, he approved a congressional bill annexing Sabah on the Philippines. Malaysia suspended diplomatic relations. Sabah had joined the Federation of Malaysia in 1963, and the matter was referred to the United Nations. The Philippines dropped its claim to Sabah in 1978. The Philippines became one of the founding countries of the Associated of Southeast Asian Nations (ASEAN) in 1967. The continuing need for land reform fostered a new Hawk uprising in central Luzon, accompanied by mounting assassination and act of terror, and in 1969 Marcos began a major military campaign of subdue them. Civil war also threatened of Mindanao, where group of Marcos opposed certain settlement. In November 1969, Marcos won an unprecedented election, easily defeating Sigirago Ismania Jr. But the election was accompanied by violence and the charges of fraud, and Marcos' second term began with increasing civil disorders. Late in 2000, Esterrade's presidency was buffeted by charges that he accepted millions of dollars in payoff from illegal gambling operation. Although his support among the poor Filipino majority remained strong, many political, businesses, and church leaders called for him to resign. In November 2000, Estrada was impeached and by the House of Representatives on charges of great, but the Senate, controlled by Estrada's allies, provoked a crisis January 2001 when it rejected examining the president's bank records. As demonstrations against Estrada mounted and members of the cabinet resigned, the Supreme Court stripped him on the presidency, and Vice President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo and was sworn in as Estrada's successor. Macapagal Arroyo was elected president in her own right in May 2004, but the balloting was marred by violence and irregularities, as well as tedious vote counting process that was completed 6 weeks after the election. So guys, this was a little bit history of the Philppine. So if you really like this video, so guys, please thumbs up for this video, and don't forget to subscribe this channel for new video updates. Thank you guys, and have a great day.